Coach, starring CP Audits, some angry parents, the big bosses, introducing a ref. Don't forget this, Scumbag Gets mentioned. Written and directed by Mr. Chips.
Warning, the following story about the former football coach are not for the faint of heart or those with a deep love for the sport. Yes, she was that bad. We're talking more fumbles than a clumsy juggler and more losses than a sock in a laundry room. Any resemblance to a competent coach is purely coincidental. Viewer discretion is advised, especially if you're a fan of winning.
CP Audits had always dreamed of being involved in sports, but her knowledge of football was limited to what she'd seen in a few World Cup matches. However, when the local kids' football team desperately needed a coach, she volunteered. After all, how hard could it be? Her first practice was a disaster. CP Audits stood on the sidelines, trying to remember the rules she'd seen on TV. She blew the whistle randomly, unsure when to start or stop play. The kids, sensing her uncertainty, ran in all directions, chasing the ball with no formation or strategy. Things took a turn for the worse when they played their first match. In the middle of the game, CP Audits heard the referee's whistle blow for offside. She ran onto the pitch, waving her arms, and asked, "What's offside?" The referee, players, and spectators looked at her in stunned silence. She didn't realize it was one of the most basic rules in football. Determined to improve, CP Audits spent nights watching YouTube videos about football strategies. However, she mostly found herself drifting to auditing Lancashire videos and baby abuse crime stories. Her coaching methods grew more bizarre. She made the kids practice dribbling through an obstacle course of garden gnomes and had them watch old martial arts films, claiming they would learn agility and discipline. The team's record was abysmal. They lost every game, sometimes by double digits. Parents grumbled, but CP Audits' enthusiasm was unwavering. She introduced a new tactic where the kids would stand still for 10 seconds to confuse the opponents, leading to more goals scored against them. One day, the league decided to hold a special match. They invited a retired professional player to referee. Before the game, CP Audits, still clueless about the offside rule, approached him for advice. He patiently explained it, and for the first time, CP Audits understood. That match was different. CP Audits' team still lost, but only by one goal. More importantly, they played with a newfound confidence, knowing that CP Audits was about to be seen by the heads of the FA. Parents had begun to complain more vocally, and the league officials were receiving regular letters and emails questioning her coaching methods. It wasn't long before the FA took notice. One cloudy Tuesday afternoon, CP Audits received a call from the FA. They invited her to a meeting to discuss her tenure as the kids' football coach. Nervously, she arrived at their headquarters, a modest building adorned with trophies and framed photos of past victories. The meeting room was intimidating. Seated around a large table were several stern-faced officials. CP Audits took a deep breath and sat down. "CP Audits," began Mr. Thompson, the head of the local FA committee, "we appreciate your dedication and the joy you've brought to the children. However, we must address the concerns raised about your understanding of football rules and coaching methods." CP Audits nodded, her heart sinking. She knew this was coming. "We've reviewed the complaints and the results of the season," continued another official, Ms. Roberts. "It's clear that, despite your best efforts, the team's performance has not improved, and there's a fundamental lack of understanding of the game's basic rules. For instance, not knowing the offside rule is quite concerning for a coach at any level." CP Audits bit her lip. She wanted to argue, to explain that she had tried her best, but deep down, she knew they were right. After a lengthy discussion, Mr. Thompson sighed and delivered the final verdict. "CP Audits, we regret to inform you that we have no choice but to terminate your position as the kids' football coach. We need someone who can develop their skills and knowledge of the game more effectively." CP Audits felt a wave of disappointment but managed a small nod. "I understand," she said quietly. "Thank you for giving me the chance." As she left the building, CP Audits felt a mix of sadness and relief. Coaching had now gone forever. She decided to attend their next match as a supporter only, cheering them on from the sidelines. But all the parents threw plastic cups of water at her, and she walked out alone, drenched from head to toe, sobbing like a baby. Football coaching was over for CP Audits, and the parents and the FA were ecstatic about that particular result. No VAR needed.
Who are you? An angel.
What's your name?